Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Michelle Shelton. I'm a registered dietitian and certified coach. And in this channel, I teach people strategies to achieve a life of health and well-being that is centered in reconnecting to your natural body wisdom so that you can move out of the control and the restriction that is so prevalent in the wellness culture today, and so that you can nourish from that place of wisdom where so often we go to the place of sort of giving up and not caring at all. So we want to nourish, not give up, and not control, right? Come out of those extremes, come back to wisdom. So that's what I teach people here. And today I wanted to talk about a recent experience that I had when I was in Costa Rica. So if you watched the video last week, that talks a little bit about my experience in Costa Rica as well. And we went to the guilt deprivation cycle. And today I want to share with you an experience that I had that really highlights the hunger fullness dynamic, right? Which is something that we talk a lot about here. So how honoring your hunger really allows you to feel your fullness. And when that is broken, you tend to eat too much. And we think that we're overeating and don't have self-control, when in fact, we're really out of balance with this hunger fullness dynamic. And so I want to share this sort of this experience I have that is a really nice demonstration in the short term of what most of us experience, right, in this culture of a lot of restriction and dieting. Okay, so when I was in Costa Rica, I was eating at this resort where I was staying, and it was all plant-based, and they offered 3 meals a day. So they offered breakfast from 7 to 9, lunch was from noon to 2, and dinner was 6 until 7:30. The food was delicious. It was a lot of vegetables, a lot of variety. Like, it was a really, really good, really good menu. However, it was a lot lower in protein than I'm used to eating. And it was a different sort of cadence. I eat pretty early because I wake up and I exercise and I get my metabolism going and I'm ready, right? So for some food right away. I eat breakfast, I eat a morning snack, I eat lunch, I eat an afternoon snack, and then I eat dinner, right? So I'm eating 5 times a day. I generally don't go more than 3 hours without eating. Where here, I was going sometimes up to 5 hours without eating, or more, 5 to 6 hours, which is for me a stretch. And I was not getting enough protein. And here's some interesting things about protein, which I think are really helpful to know. So protein, there's some really interesting evidence. Well, we know there's a lot of good research to show that protein is the most effective nutrient at helping your body feel fullness, right? A lot of studies show, right, that the higher your protein intake is, the more awareness you have of your fullness, and the easier it is to kind of get that feedback and know when you're finished eating, right? So protein can really help regulate hunger. There's some theories about why that is, and some people suggest that may be because our body needs a certain amount of amino acids, and the amino acids are simply the building blocks of protein. Proteins are made up of amino acids, and our body takes in that protein, it breaks it down into the amino acids, and it sends it to the different areas where we need to repair tissue, right? Our whole body is made up of protein. And so those proteins come in and we use them to discard the proteins that are starting to wear down, starting to get damaged, and we bring in this new protein from our diet, right? And so there's some theories that baseline of amino acids, your body knows when it has received what it needs, right, to have that healthy turnover of your tissue and of your body and of your organs, your muscles, everything needs that protein, right? So that gives your body that baseline signal. And so here I am in Costa Rica eating a pretty low protein diet. My body is used to getting a certain level, and I eat based on some of the recent studies that say that maybe 30 grams at a meal is that threshold of what your body needs. And it is dependent on body size, but for me, that's about the number that I aim for, and I'm eating significantly less than that, right? So my body is like feeling it. It's feeling that it's maybe not being fully fed. It's not getting the amino acids that it needs. The other thing that my body is feeling is that I'm used to eating every 3 hours, and now I have to go longer, right? So it's like, okay, I know I've got to eat more at meals to be able to get Michelle through, right, that full 5-6 hours, because she's used to 3 and 6 feels like a stretch, and after 3 she really starts to drop. So I'm going to eat past fullness. I'm going to eat into discomfort to sustain her and make sure she has enough, right? So my body is starting to adapt, and notice the wisdom in that, right? The wisdom in that, knowing that this is the environment that I'm in, this is how it responds. So the nice thing is, right, that because I'm in this pretty highly controlled environment, there's 3 meals a day, right? It's cafeteria style. You don't just go and pick what you want, right? You kind of go through the line. So it's pretty highly controlled. And so my body was kind of able to adapt to it without too much sort of negative response. However, by the end of the week, I was feeling it. Right? I was starting to notice I really would like more protein. I really would like more bread, right? I was noticing the deprivation, but it didn't really affect me too much because of the controlled environment. And then I went home, right? I went home, and this is so important, right? Because we all have that point where we follow the diet, we follow the meal plan, it's highly structured, and in that structure, we do really, really well. And we all have that point where we go home, so to speak, or we go back to real life. We go back to that normal environment, and it stops working, right? My body, this is what happened to me. My body is like, okay, now I can get the foods. I can get food whenever I want. I can get whatever I want. And it's sort of compensating for that hunger, right? It's like, what if she makes me go more than 5 hours again? What if she doesn't give me enough amino acids? So I better eat it while I can get it, right? So I noticed myself continuing to eat past hunger when I came home, in that response to experiencing hunger over the previous week. Okay, and so in that environment, we tend to do one thing, right? We tend to start to believe, one, I do better with control. I need control because over here in control, I did okay. I was able to manage it. I was able to stay within the bounds. And then I came out of the control and I just kind of went crazy, right? I just started to eat too much and I started to eat all the time. And right, I'm just like, I must need the control, right? And with that idea of I must need the control is because I don't have the self-control. That's the other belief that goes with it. I don't have the self-control. My body is out of control. It's just going to eat whatever it wants. And therefore, I need a controlled environment. And the problem is that life is not controlled, right? We can only sustain that for so long, and it's inevitable that we come back to this environment of real life, right? Where it's a little bit crazy, it's a little bit intense, it's a little bit unpredictable, right? It's a little bit this and that. And the good news is that none of that is actually true. It's not about having self-control. You do have the ability, your body is also not out of control, and you do have the ability to nourish without needing that strict controlled environment. I promise you that is true. I didn't think it was true for me 20 years ago when I began this process, and I proved myself wrong. It is available to you and to me and to anybody. Okay, so there is a different way. And here's what I want to just suggest to you. That it's not an issue of not having enough self-control. It's an issue of not having enough self-trust, right? Over that week where I wasn't nourishing my body, I wasn't eating often enough, I wasn't getting enough amino acids, my body lost trust in me, right? It's like, I don't know if she's going to feed me what I need. I don't know if she's going to feed me enough. And so I have to react now and respond to make sure that I am getting enough, right? And it feels like out of control, but it's really just a response to that lack of trust, that broken trust. And so what that looked like for me over the week, rebuilding and restoring the trust, right? Giving it the protein consistently, feeding it consistently every 3 hours, which again, I know that works for me because I've spent a lot of time sort of figuring out my own rhythms. Eating every 3 hours, eating a lot of protein, that is what works for me. That allows my body to know that it has been fed, it has received enough, and it can relax, right? It doesn't have to go to this sort of out of control eating place. So what I want to then suggest to you then is when you get to that place, right, where you're feeling out of control, it most likely is not an issue with you not having enough self-control. It's most likely an issue of needing to restore self-trust. And how do you do that? You do that by feeding your body and giving it what it needs. Okay, so you feed it frequently, right? Every 3 hours, every 4 hours, whatever that looks like for you. You give it the amino acids, you give it the nutrients, the vitamins and the minerals that it needs. You give it the hydration that it needs, and it will stop asking you, right? It will stop asking you because it will feel satisfied and it will trust you and it will know that you will care for it. That is the path that we are working towards. So I just want to offer that to you as maybe just something to try and experiment with, restoring and building that trust, feeding your body so that you can then stop overeating. That's so key. And that experience in Costa Rica, I think, was just a really nice demonstration of what that looks like for me as a dietitian and really for anybody, right? When you get to that place of a lot of restriction and not feeding and meeting your baseline needs. If you want more tips and tricks to or strategies to achieve that life of health and well-being, don't forget to click subscribe. I also want to make you aware of something really exciting that I am working on. Coming in the next 4 to 6 months, I'll be releasing a course. It'll be a 3-month course. It will give you content and worksheets. We'll have meditations as well as 3 live coaching sessions, all in the service of helping you stop overeating. And so if that's something you're interested in, you can go into the comment section and just sign up to say I'm interested. You don't have to sign up, but you're just stating your interest. And then when it's released, I'll make you aware of that, and you can decide if it's something you want to purchase. So more information to come on that, but stay tuned. Don't forget to click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.